In the first 90 days after losing a spouse, a surviving partner typically faces more consequential financial decisions than in the previous 5 years combined. What to do with life insurance proceeds, whether to roll over a retirement account, how to handle unvested equity, whether to sell the house. And in most households I've worked with, those decisions are made by someone who has never operated the financial system from the inside, because their spouse was the one running it. The results are often irreversible, and they were preventable. I'm Klemm, founder of Inflection Point Wealth Management. This video is about the one conversation most financially successful couples never have, and what it costs when they don't. The problem in this story isn't negligence, it's asymmetric involvement. One person has been living inside the financial picture for years, talking to the advisor, watching investing schedules, thinking about tax brackets, knowing which account is taxable and which isn't. The other person hasn't had to, because their partner was handling it. That's a reasonable division of labor. It works, until it doesn't. I've seen this play out in real situations. A spouse passes away or becomes incapacitated. The surviving partner knows they're financially secure. They know the money is there, but they don't know what to do with it. So now they're grieving and also fielding calls from the insurance company, the custodian, the employer about unvested equity. These are decisions with real timelines, and they're making them without context, without a framework, without knowing what matters and what doesn't. Some of those decisions are one-way doors. A premature IRA rollover election can be difficult to unwind. A mishandled estate asset may not be recoverable. An equity exercise window that closes 90 days after separation doesn't wait for grief. I've seen six-figure mistakes made in those 90 days by capable, intelligent people who are operating without a map in the hardest season of their lives. Here's where most people get stuck. They have this conversation, and they imagine sitting down to talk about what happens when they die. That feels heavy, morbid, and most couples just don't do it. But that's not the conversation I'm asking for. I'm asking for an operating conversation. If your spouse had to step in tomorrow, for any reason, not necessarily death, could they? Do they know who your financial advisor is? Your CPA? What accounts exist? Where the estate documents are? That's the baseline. And you'd be surprised how many generally successful, organized couples can't clear it. Beyond the baseline, here's how the money works. Here's what comes in, and here's where it goes. Here's what the key levers are. Not every detail, just the architecture. Enough that they sat in a meeting with an advisor or CPA, they'd know what questions to ask. If you're the money person, this is on you, because you built the system and you're the one who knows how it runs. Start small. You don't need a 3-hour summit. You need 20 minutes and a piece of paper. 4 things: where the accounts are, who the key contacts are, advisor, CPA, attorney, what decisions are time sensitive, vesting schedules, exercise windows, insurance renewals, and where the documents live, estate plan, insurance policies, beneficiary designations. That's the first conversation. If you do nothing else after watching this, do that. Write it down, walk your spouse through it, and put it somewhere they can find. Then, eventually, have the deeper conversation. Why you're invested the way you are. Why you're deferring into certain accounts. What's the equity comp timeline look like? Not because they need to manage it day to day, because if they ever have to, they'll have context instead of chaos. The executives who are most prepared for this aren't the ones with the best financial plans. They're the ones whose spouses could sit down with an advisor the week after a loss and say, here's what we had, here's how it was structured, what do I need to do first? That takes one conversation, maybe 2. The 6-figure financial mistakes I've seen in those first 90 days are entirely real and almost entirely preventable. The most important financial decisions you can make this month have nothing to do with your portfolio. It's making sure the person you love the most can navigate this without you, just enough not to be lost. If you are the money manager in your household and you haven't walked your spouse through the architecture of how it works, that conversation is available to you right now. There is no deadline on this one, except that there is. You just don't know when it is. This channel is built for high-earning professionals and executives, delivering content on navigating complex financial decisions, equity compensation, tax strategy, retirement planning, and concentrated wealth. If these topics are valuable to you, be sure to subscribe so that you get more free content. Thanks for joining. See you next time.